A man already facing the death penalty, accused of murdering an 11-year-old boy, has now been indicted on new charges, accusing him of killing his cellmate behind bars.
The family of that cellmate, a nonviolent offender, wants to know how he ended up there and why it took the Maricopa County Attorney's Office almost 10 months to bring these charges. Investigative reporter Amy Cutler spent the day trying to get those answers.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and the County Attorney's Office stressed these cases just take time, that the suspect was already behind bars. But for the family of the man killed, that's just not good enough. If the name Thomas DeShairnis sounds familiar, that's because he's accused of the horrific abuse and murder of his step-grandson, Chaska Davis. It was back in January 2022 that the 11-year-old's body was pulled from a Scottsdale motel bathtub. DeShairnis and his wife, the child's grandmother, Stephanie Davis, claimed the child hurt himself. Prosecutors didn't buy it. The county attorney later said she'd seek the death penalty. DeShairnis ended up in the Lower Buckeye Jail, where in September 2022, he was put in a cell with 51-year-old Richard Cano.
He was a non-violent criminal. A lot of his behavior was connected to addiction.
And so he was detoxing, not feeling well. Then he's put into a cell with a suspect who's facing a murder charge.
That's my understanding.
Anthony Ramirez is the attorney representing Cano's family. According to the incident report, staff at the jail found Cano unresponsive in his cell. He died soon after. Ramirez tells me he was strangled to death. Cano's family claims they weren't notified of his death for 2 weeks. It was only after Googling his cellmate's name that they learned who DeShairnis was.
For the family not to get information has just really been very difficult for them and very disappointing.
They filed a notice of claim back in March, meaning they intend to sue. The county attorney's office tells me they didn't receive the case until April. Now, 10 months later, DeShairnis has been charged with Cano's murder. He pleaded not guilty. I'm sure you've reached out to the sheriff's office to ask why that is, why he was in that cell. What's the response that you've received?
We haven't received a response on that.
I also reached out to the sheriff's office. They tell me they couldn't comment on pending litigation. As for the county attorney's office, they tell me because DeShairnis is already behind bars, they have additional time to file charges and that they prioritize cases like this one. As for Ramirez, he says they plan to move forward with that lawsuit. They say there are a lot of unanswered questions about why and how this happened. In the newsroom, Amy Cutler, Arizona's Family Investigates.
Amy, thank you.